What's up, everyone? Welcome to another episode of the two OGs talking 49er football. We're going to have a guest with us tonight. Many of you guys know who he is. Brandon from Forever Faithful podcast will be joining us momentarily. But tonight, we're here to talk about another win. Oh, wait a minute. It wasn't a win. It was a loss. And we're going to talk about it. It sucks. It is what it is. Here we are. How are you doing, Peter? How was your day today?
I'm good. Like I mean, it always sucks on a 49er loss, but at the same time, we're moving on. We're still 5-2. This is still a better situation than the 49ers are usually in, like at this time of the year. So yeah. I think that this team, hopefully that they learn from this loss. Hopefully they see they go back and look and are embarrassed at some of this tape. And yeah, that we just keep it pushing and take it out on the Bengals next week.
Yeah. I'll be honest with you. The way this defense has been playing lately, the way that Steve Wilkes has been misusing the player and personnel, if you will, I don't know if we're going to beat the Bengals. I think the Bengals are going to do some ass kicking, bro, and we're going to be the ones receiving it. We'll see what happens. But before we go any further, let's go ahead and welcome everyone in the chat. Don Dotz is in the chat. Welcome.
What's going on, Don?
We got Royalty. Welcome, Don. We got 49ers Throwback in the house. What's up, 49ers Throwback? We got, what is it? Oh, wow, that's small. Hold on. Give me a second. Even with my glasses, I can't read that. Imperia 408 in the house. Welcome. We got, let's see who else we have. All right, let me go ahead and bring in our guest that loves to come in late and ruin it for everyone. Hold on, guys. Let me remove the thing. Let me assign him to 3. Boom. All right, let me shut down. Boom. All right, let's welcome everyone. Brandon from the Forever Faithful podcast, who's not faithful. Here he is. What's up, brother? Uh-oh. Can you hear us?
Hear you. Can you hear me?
Yeah, now we can hear you. It helps when you take yourself off the mute. Yeah.
Yeah.
What's up, brother? Welcome to the show.
Can you hear the background noise?
Yeah, I can hear the TV in the background. Definitely.
Hold on real quick. Let me turn it off.
All right. Who cares about the Warriors anyway? What's up, Luis Moreno?
Watching your sorry Lakers get their ass kicked.
The language.
It's the first game of the season.
It's the first, yeah.
It was
a long season.
That's why I give them shit, because it don't matter if it's game 1 or game 82. I'm still gonna give them shit.
Okay. I bet you can't even name our 5 starters tonight.
Your 5 starters?
Yes.
No, I can't, because
thank you.
My team, I don't get the Rats AS. Okay.
Anyways, enjoy those 17 Super Bowls. I mean championships. And we got a guy in the chat by Facebook user. Unfortunately, you got to identify who you are, or I'm going to call you Mr. Facebook. But welcome to the channel. So we were talking about before you came in, Brandon. We were talking. Me and Pete were talking about the game they just played out against Minnesota. Kirk Cousins dropped back 45 times. And we didn't touch him once in a sack. We have the same personnel, if not upgraded by some additions in that defensive. Why are we struggling more this year than we were last year? Do you think that Steve Wilkes has something to do with it?
Yes, yes, I do. Let me put it this way, dude. Nick Bosa basically kind of called him out without calling him out yesterday in
In his
the post
press?
game presser. Yes, and if that doesn't say something right there, then I mean, come on, Wilkes needs to figure figure something out because what he's doing right now, especially these past two games, it's not working. It's not working.
Twin.
That's all
What's
I gotta
up?
say.
What's up, my brother? Hold on. Let me make this bigger because I am tripping here.
Twin, what's going on, Twin? How you doing, man?
Yeah, what's going on, Twin?
Something.
I love my guy. Yeah, I love my guy, Twin. Like that is my guy. Like
Yes,
and but we do not agree. We do not agree on this subject. Like I just think I gotta say about Wills. I just think that the vibe is completely different. Um, we can talk about percentage of plays and percentage of coverages called and all this other nonsense, and but the reality, and we can talk about the amount of points being scored. We can talk about that too. They gave up 370 yards. They gave up 370 yards as well as 10. They beat the 49ers in time of possession by 10 minutes. Like that cannot happen. They couldn't get off the field. They couldn't get it. It didn't even matter if they scored a whole bunch of points. They couldn't get off the field. And it's not the play. I don't think it's a personnel issue. There's these guys just aren't being asked to do the same things that they were asked to be being asked to do the previous year. I don't see the same stunts and twists on the defensive line, and I'm sure somebody in chat is going to say come up with some percentage or a number of times that it's the same. But I'm talking about situational play calling. Situational play calling, it has stunk, and we can say what we want about it was what's his name, Mooney Ward's fault. He should have gotten the interception. Like if he makes the interception, we're not talking about it. It still was a bad play call, and that is the reason that happening that that touchdown happening is the exact reason why it's a bad play call. Because if he didn't make it, or if the guy there's nobody there. There's nobody there. There's no contingency plan. So we can make the Steve Wilkes' job is to manage the process and to put these guys in a position to succeed. He is not doing that, in my opinion. These guys they obviously have different. They're being asked to do different things. It might be in the same coverages, but it looks like they got different responsibilities because they are not firing on. They are not firing off the ball. They are not aggressive at all. I don't see the same bullies that I saw and the same physical play that we saw last season. I just don't see it now, and I really doubt that it's the players' mentality because I think that these guys have a really good locker room, and it's just weird to me that you make one coaching change and all of a sudden that whole vibe changes. It's got to be the person the change. So until proven otherwise, like I gotta say that the same thing is better. We've got to see something better from Wilkes. He's got to figure it out. If it
and
means that
also
he's got to find a way to get the players going, I don't care what he's got to do. He's got to get these guys ready to play on Sundays. That is his job.
yeah. Also, too, is it's like why would you blitz going into halftime? Like just freaking play regular ball, full 4-man rush, right? And
Hmm.
or pass rush,
Yeah, they should
and
win prevent
kill the
defense.
game. Yeah, kill the time. Like
Yep.
I don't know what Steve Wilkes was thinking blitzing with all that time left too, especially. Like I don't understand. Another thing too is a lot of people are saying too, like Wilkes has been up in the booth calling plays and stuff like that. Do you guys think that him not being down there with him is not giving them like a lot of more confidence?
No, bro. These guys are
Say
these
or
guys are not college kids, bro. They're men. They
no,
don't
I
need that.
know, but
They don't
you
need
saw
that
the
rah rah.
energy from D'Amico and how hyped up he always gets whenever the defense always made a play last year. Like that defense, like
Yeah, but
I
how much
saw.
money are we paying Bosa? How many much money are we paying Hargrave? If they need that type of motivation of somebody jumping up and down on the sidelines, then these are the wrong guys to have on this defense. I understand
I get
the charisma and the excitement and everything. I just think that like Twin Empire said, he doesn't. He made a good point. We don't give up a lot of points. I know the topic that I brought out was about Steve Wilkes and is he the problem? But me personally, I think it's Kyle Shanahan is a problem in this loss. The scheme that he built, and I understand he built it because of freaking Jimmy G, who's trash. If you're missing one component like Debo Samuel and you can't get the jet sweeps going, it just kind of throws a monkey wrench in the whole system, and they can't execute the way they need to execute. Before Debo went down, we were scoring 30 points in the first 5 games, and then Debo is not able to play, and suddenly we can't score no more than 17 points. I think it's a system problem. The way he built it, I want to get your guys' input on that. Your sincere input, because the way the system's built is to be the yak guys, right? The yards after the catch. But if you don't have one of the guys that leads, if you don't have the engine that leads the car, which is Debo, I don't know. It just seems like, Minnesota, they were without Jefferson, but they found other ways to win without Jefferson. It seems like Kyle can't do it without Debo. So I want to start. I'll start with
Oh, yeah, go ahead.
go with Brandon real quick, and then I'll let you finish it off there, Pete.
For sure.
Repeat that question again, dude.
Seriously, it took me about an hour to say it.
Dude, only because I don't know why, but
No mames.
the
Yeah,
program you use on my computer, it makes it slow and cut out sometimes.
yeah. It's called you have a cheap computer. Do you have that
No,
problem,
no.
Pete?
Huh? No, I can hear you.
There it is, bro.
Continue.
But anyway, my question was,
But
I think
are
it's
you
Kyle
wearing
Shanahan's
earphones?
fault.
No,
Oh, that's probably it too.
I have them right here though.
Maybe
My
it's
question
maybe the
was,
earphones.
I believe it's Kyle Shanahan's fault because of the scheme that he built, and the way he runs the yak after the yards after the catch, and when you're missing a component like Debo, that sets the tone for what he wants to do offensively, he seems not able to do anything better to adapt without him on the field.
I disagree. I think it's more of Kyle relying on Christian McCaffrey. Even with Debo in there, he still relies on Christian McCaffrey. You saw yesterday he used the. Can I cuss on here or no?
Yeah, of course you can. I was
Okay.
kidding.
Um, he used the shit out of CMC, and I like that one. I like that. That was perfect. That was perfect. Um, he noticed that CMC didn't miss one snap at all in yesterday's game. So he relied on CMC once again, and with the stuff that was working, like the couple of slants to BA or the couple of passes that he had to George Kittle, he needs to open up the book more and go to other players than just CMC. And defenses are focusing on CMC, and you've seen it the past 2 weeks now because CMC hasn't been getting a lot of rushing yards, right? And everybody's cracking down on him. So Open up the playbook. Don't rely on CMC no more. You're seeing defenses are going to attack CMC now. Go to somebody else now, because at the end of the day, dude, we have more than just CMC. We have a lot of weapons on offense. I don't know why Kyle keeps doing this, but it needs to change.
What's your thoughts there, Pete?
So I got a couple thoughts, and I see you down there, Twin, like talking about the offense, and I agree, and I absolutely agree that that the offense is a problem as well. But I think that it's and I like what you said about CMC, Brandon, because the fact of the matter is the 49ers have a stable of running backs. They don't have just CMC. And what and I got into with a person on Twitter today about the run game. And the 49ers all of a sudden completely losing their identity and them just basically going away from the run game. And some guy said that they were that they weren't going away from the run game. The run game wasn't working. They only ran the ball 15 times yesterday with running backs. 15 times. In the past, if we didn't run the ball 30 times, it was going to be a bad game. And Kyle has completely kind of abandoned that whole thing. I think he's found a quarterback that he feels runs his offense at an optimal level. But because of that, he has gone more to the drop back game, has kind of abandoned his identity of a physical offense and time of possession, and it's hurting us. It's hurting us, like, because now all of a sudden you get a penalty that puts you back. There's nothing that you can really do to get those yards back. You're starting in a hole. You're not wearing down the other team's defense at all. Like that is part of being a physical football team, is running the ball down their throat, wearing them down, wearing the defense down, eating up time of possession. That is the point of the running game. And then using play action off of that, which makes everything easier for Purdy. Purdy is not a top tier. Before I say this, let me preface this by saying, can we just stop it with the whole elite conversation? It's not that he's not supposed to be a top tier quarterback. He runs Kyle's offense. We've talked about it multiple times. He is a point guard for this offense. He is not the offense. The offense shouldn't be running through Purdy. It should be running through this run game, and then Purdy is able to make the couple of throws that Jimmy couldn't make. That was the purpose of him, and that's why it looked so great when he first came in. And now that we've gotten to the point to where Kyle just feels like now Purdy is the offense, and he's just going to drop back 30 times a game. He shouldn't be throwing the ball 30 times a game. In my mind, he shouldn't be throwing more than 20 to 25 at the most. Kyle is just, he gets in these ruts where he goes away from what works because he wants to try stuff out. But in Kyle's defense, eventually he always finds himself again. And I believe that that's what's going to happen again this year. He's going to figure out that what he's trying out isn't working. And he's going to go back to the old tried and true of running the football and building off of that with play action. And it's going to get us back right. That's what I feel is going to happen. But this happens every single season. Last year, what did they start off 3-4? And we were talking about the identity of this team. The year before that, same thing. Like it's a cyclical thing with Kyle. He wants to try out new things because he gets a new toy and he wants to just wear it out. But the reality is he's going to go back to what works eventually. So that's how I kind of feel about Kyle. I do blame Kyle a lot for this whole thing, but I also blame the defense because you can't give up 370 passing yards. That just can't happen. I don't care if it's bend but don't break, and that they didn't score but 22. I don't care. Like, you can't give up 370 yards and give up 10 minutes of time of possession.
Yeah, you got to get off the field on third downs, bro. You can't converting those third downs into first downs, and the defense gets tired. It just seemed like they couldn't stop the Vikings offense, and
Yeah.
and the
And
fact
you
that
can't
they
miss
couldn't put
field
no
goals.
pressure. Yeah, it's ridiculous, and that secondary has been vulnerable, and I think 49er throwback made a comment earlier stating that here we thought that our secondary was going to be better because we got a secondary coach that is going to work with our secondary, and he doesn't trust his corners. He doesn't trust his corners, and they're the same corners from last year, like you said, Pete, earlier when we were talking. He doesn't trust his corners.
Yeah.
What is it that do you think, in your guys' opinion, that's going through the mind of Steve Wilkes? What is he trying to? I know every coordinator wants to put in their own wrinkle into what's already working, but it seems like whatever wrinkles he's trying to put in, or in my opinion, force in, is not working. What do you think he needs to do? You think he needs to adjust to the defense and how the defense was playing last year, more and less of him putting his wrinkles, or do you think he needs to put more wrinkles in and turn it more into his type of defense? Either one of you guys can answer.
Yeah. Can you mind if I go first, Brandon?
Go ahead.
So I believe, and I think we were talking about this off air too. I believe that Steve Wilkes needs to turn on the tape, see what they were doing last year, and start adding in some of the stuff that D'Amico was doing last year, which is a lot of twists and stunts and kind of overloaded certain sides of the line on obvious passing downs. Like, I mean, it's really simple what they were doing. They weren't doing a lot of blitzing. It was timely blitzes. And blitzing wasn't a substitute for the pressure. The defensive line was still getting pressure even towards the end of the season. Like they were still getting pressure. They might not have been getting sacks, but they were getting pressure. The way that they're letting the defensive line go to, like, in these games, is it's like they're just hiking the ball. Okay, you guys go up the field, and then it's all up to the back end to hold it down. But they're not getting pressure, so you're going to have to manufacture pressure by twits and stunts. Like, I mean, that's you. If you're going to rush 4, that's what you have to do to get to like, you just can't trust that the defensive line is just going to overpower the other team's offensive line. Like, that's just, to me, that's just a recipe for disaster.
Go ahead, Brandon. What's your thoughts?
Yeah, I agree, Pete. I think because I mean, I don't know what goes through Steve Wilkes' head, but I feel like because the defense is already used to rushing 4, like you said, Pete. In my opinion, I think they should just stay with it because it was working, and I think Steve could figure it out and make something happen to where the defense looks better than what it has the past 2 weeks. Um, we've been getting, like, I don't know, man. It's hard because just the way they played the past 2 weeks, I'm just like, what happened to the defense that we saw during the Dallas game? Like that was top contender team, right? And that defense came out and they played like the
It
same
trusted
defense.
his corners.
Exactly. And another thing too is I have to call out is the penalties. The penalties are killing us as well, man. Like they need to clean that shit up too. I don't know, man. It's just like I don't even know what to say at this point right now because our defense has looked crazy. Like not the same defense I know that they can be. Even though they haven't given up a lot of points, the yardage and the open receivers, all that stuff, no bueno, man. We need to cut it down, regroup, and get their shit together because if we're trying to be a Super Bowl contender team this year, that's not Super Bowl contender right there. That's high school shit right there.
Yeah, I mean, there's always a lot of work. There's always a lot of questions when a team goes 5-0 and then just drops 2 back to back to teams like Cleveland and Minnesota. They definitely have to look inwards and figure this shit out, figure it out quickly, and make the necessary changes. Defensively, we got to continue to put pressure on the quarterback. I noticed that the quarterbacks or offensive strategies from the offensive coordinator facing our defense is, at least this year, is let's get the ball out of the quarterback hands quickly. And because they know that we can put the pressure. It's not like our defenders are not getting through. It's just as soon as they get near the quarterback, the ball's out of their hand. And it's something that it makes it hard for us to get sacks. And it seems like offensive coordinators are making that adjustment. So now, what does Steve Wilkes do to counteract that? What does he got to do? They'll say, okay, the quarterback's getting the ball out quick. So now he has to work on the secondary, and they have to be more better coverage. They got to bump right at the line. They got to make sure to harass the receivers, not let them get clean runs. I mean, I would like to know, what do the Wilkes need to do as a coordinator, and what type of adjustments needs to be made in order for us to change this thing that they're doing by getting the ball rid in 2.5 seconds. What do you guys think that Wilkes needs to do for the quarterback to hold on to the ball a little bit longer? I think it's better coverage in the backfield, but I want to get your guys' thought, and also people in the comment. What are your guys' thought? What does Wilkes have to do to avoid it, keep getting these offensive coordinators getting the ball so quickly?
Go ahead, Pete.
Oh, okay. So I've talked about this one in the past as well, and I just think that in the past, it felt to me like they weren't playing so much off coverage. We know that Mooney Ward is not good at off coverage. That's not his game. And I think that these guys are at their best when they can get up and get physical with the receiver, with the receivers. It's going to give the defense that extra second to get near the quarterback. And you've got to bump these guys. They can't have free reign, because what's happening right now is, like you said, they're getting the ball out in 2.5 seconds. But when they get the ball out, there's nobody around them. There's nobody around. They're just catching balls wide open every single time. And you cannot tell me that every person in that secondary is not doing it's their fault and it's their problem. I reject that notion. Because this was not, they were very physical in the past. And that was what this defense was known for, was being physical. And if they got beat over the top because they were being too physical, I could live with that. They were just getting beat. But this of just allowing them to catch the ball underneath over and over and over again, and we're just going to blame the defensive line for not getting home because they can't get to the quarterback in 2.5 is, I just think it's just the wrong. I think it's the wrong thing to be even. Yeah, it's a little ridiculous to me, in my opinion. I know that we want Steve Wilkes to be good, and I see and I get it that they're not scoring a ton of points. But at the same time, you're going to need your defense at some point. Their defense has been giving up yards like there's no tomorrow. This defense, we can talk about points all we want to, but this defense is not even top 5 right now. This was the number 1 defense in the league last year. The defense currently is in the middle to the lower middle of the league now in giving up yards. That cannot happen. You're keeping your offense off the field. So unless you're expecting if you're giving up 10 minutes of possession time, then you're just asking your offense to score basically every time they get on the field. They have to score every time they get on the field, because you're just going to leave their offense on the field the majority of the game. So I'd be interested to hear what people's reaction is to that part of it. Like, because I don't think that we're thinking when we're talking about the amount of points that are given up, I don't think that we're thinking about the time of possession that's eating up.
True. And you also can have an all-pro running back fumble the ball
Yeah.
twice now. That's a no-no. You know, I
Question.
understand.
Hey, Beto, question for you, because all I hear all the time about Shanny is that, hey, guy fumbles the ball or a guy misses a block, that he's going to be in Shanny's doghouse and he's not going to get touches. So is he going to do the same thing to CMC now?
Of course not.
Well, I mean, why not? We should be
He-
holding him accountable just like everybody else, right?
Yep, I agree because he's fumbled. He fumbled it twice already now in the end zone.
But I know why you guys are saying what you're saying. I understand that, you know, it's, and you're right. But let's be real. Do we want CMC in the doghouse? We need CMC, and I understand where you're coming from. You know, if it would have been anybody else, they're in the doghouse. We've seen it with Shanny, but Shanny's not stupid either. CMC gives us a great chance to win each and every time he's on the field. Not only in what he does in his own production, but how defensive coordinators plan their game for a guy like CMC. Now, I wasn't happy and pleased with that turnover, but this kid is special. And I read somebody in the comments wrote earlier about, you know, CMC's hurt and Kyle Random every snap. Listen, if you're the highest paid running back, in my opinion, and you say you can play, your ass better play. I don't believe in that crap of, you know, rest the player because he's valuable. He might miss a couple more weeks if he plays too early. Nobody knows their body like a player does. I've been hearing all last week prior to him playing yesterday that you got to save CMC from himself. You got to save him from himself. Stop with that bullshit. And nobody knows their body more than the player themselves. And the coach understands this as well. If a player says, I can play, and he gives you the best option to win, you better damn put him in there. He's the highest paid running back. I don't know what your guys' thought is that, but I'm not with it. Nope. If you know, he's not 100%, don't play him. If he says he can go, he can go. And I don't know about you guys, but did Christian McCaffrey give any indication that he was hurting in all those snaps?
No.
At least I didn't see it.
Yeah, I didn't see any issue, but I feel like he's a warrior.
Yeah, but not even a pain or stretch or nothing. Mm-hmm. You know, even because you know the camera was on him when he wasn't looking, but nothing. So the thing is, if he can go, he can go. So from that perspective, I'm okay him playing. Now the fumble issue is a problem because now that's not usually what he does, but now this is his second time doing it, and it kind of take away the whole momentum, right? Because we get the INT with Ward, we score first, and who knows how it would have turned out. But then you turn the ball over, and it kind of happened the same way the first time he turned it over, right? Then Warner, somebody get an interception, and then we were supposed to score, and he turns it back to the.
Yep.
It's like, come on, CMC. Who are you playing for?
But I mean, like, why are we depending on one running back? We've got Kittle, we've got Ayuk. They've got at least two other running backs that can run. Like Elijah Mitchell, who hasn't really gotten a chance to really get going, and then Jordan Mason. Every time he touches the ball, he's getting 5. Like so, 5 or 6. Like so, I'm not quite sure as to what we are waiting for to diversify. And I heard a lot of people talk about that we can't run. We can't. They were stopping the run. Well, because you're not consistent with it. Your teams are gonna stuff the run from time to time. Every run play that you run is not going to go for 10 yards. Like you have to keep doing. You have to be consistent with it because just like even Minnesota, they didn't have a ton of rush. They didn't have a ton of rush yards. But what happened was they had that 1 or 2 big plays off of it. For the majority of the game, they were getting stuffed. The defense didn't play bad against the run, as far as I'm concerned. They had the one or two like missed tackles that caused big runs, but for the most part, they were consistent. And they busted a couple. That's what has to happen with the 49ers run game. And I feel like that's what that we have to get back to, and just wearing teams down. I'm not going to gloss over the whole time of possession thing. I think that is a huge piece. And then, I mean, because the 49ers only punted once. We're talking about the offense. They only punted once.
Yeah.
Like, did anybody else notice that they only punted once?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
it's so we're talking about the offense, but how many attempts how many chances did they really get if they only punted once, and they still lost, and they still only scored 17 points?
And they scored that against a defense that you're not going to sit there and convince me that it's way better than the Browns. This defense is not par to what they are, and the Niners couldn't move the ball. And it seems like Kyle. Somebody mentioned in the comments something that Kyle has a trust issue, and if he doesn't trust a certain player, he doesn't go to them. He goes to those that he trusts. He's not, and I don't like that about Kyle. I really don't. He doesn't go like a Ronnie Bell because he's a rookie. He doesn't go Jordan Mason. Okay, so he had some fumbling issues earlier this season. Well, he's not doing it now. It's like you got to give players opportunities to redeem themselves. And it seems like Kyle doesn't trust you unless you're a big name like CMC, or a big name like, Kittle. Other than that, you pretty much, he doesn't trust you.
He doesn't trust Kittle either most of the time.
That's true.
Notice too that so Elijah Mitchell gets out there, right? Goes freaking one rush for -1 yard. Okay. And then we didn't see freaking Jordan Mason at all either last night. And he's been doing pretty well the past couple weeks. He's like averaging 6 yards a carry? Something like that, right?
That's all he does. That's all he does is average 6 yards a carry. I don't get it. I just don't.
But like he's gaining those yards though, is what I'm saying. Is like he's gaining more than what Elijah Mitchell has been getting, right? But
he's averaging more than CMC too.
Yeah. So I don't know. They have to figure this out. We cannot lose 3 in a row and then go into the bye week. It will not be looking pretty. They're playing at home this weekend against Cincy. Hopefully with a home crowd out there as well, something will change and they'll look like them old selves again this weekend, and they change whatever they need to.
That home crowd better play secondary.
Oh, for real.
Because if they're not playing secondary, bro, and this is not towards you, Brandon, but I'm directing this towards the defense. We gotta do better, and the tackling, it's beyond this missed tackle. All pro Fred Warner, and I love me Fred, but the dude had like 3 missed tackles, and I know players are entitled to have a bad game, and so I'm not going to be harsh on Fred, but they gotta tighten up on these tackling because it seems like these players were just bouncing off of them, and 2 yards turned into 6 yards. That can't happen either.
So last night they had 7 missed tackles, I believe. But
that's terrible.
I wouldn't say it was all on Fred though, because it seemed like Fred was literally the only one playing out there on defense. To be honest with you, he was making fucking plays. You know what I mean? Like,
he did miss some tackles.
Yeah, he had his missed tackles.
He did. But his good plays overdid those missed tackles, especially that one that he jumped over the middle to stop Kirk Cousins on that little QB sneak,
Yeah, I'm not trying to take nothing away from Fred Warner. You're right. He made some excellent plays, Brandon. He went over but that still doesn't take away from the bad shit you do. He's an old pro. He's an old pro.
And he spoke about it himself. He spoke about it himself.
Sure.
Him and Bosa both did. Like, they both took accountability. Like, which I love about them.
Yes.
Like, but they both took accountability that they have to play better and that they have to lead these guys.
Those are true leaders.
So, Yeah, like they took accountability for it, so I don't have any problem. Like they with
Yeah, am I
I don't have a
worried?
problem with
No.
the defense as a whole. I'm not a fan of this. I'm not a fan of the play calling, and I'm not a fan of the scheme right now. Like and then I'm just not a fan of the identity of this team overall. Right this second. Like last year, we were talking about we were the bullies. We were the most physical team in the league. We just have not been. Like it was like we gave out all of it away after the Cowboy game. Like we haven't seen that team since.
Are we in panic mode yet?
No,
No.
Okay, good.
no.
I like to
We
hear.
can you can be upset. Like I think that's the biggest thing about all this. You can be upset about the play that's out on the field. Like there's nothing, and you can still believe in the team. I still think we have the
Absolutely.
best. I still think we have the best roster in the league.
Yeah.
And I still think Shanny is one of the best coaches in the league. I have full faith in this team. Like I just think that I'm almost glad that these things are happening right now because it gives them time to
To
figure it
fix
out.
it. Yep.
Exactly. And remember too, what and a lot of people have been pointing this out. The Niners lost week 6 and 7 last year too, and they were three
That's
and
what I'm
four.
saying. They were
Yeah,
like 3-4.
Yeah.
So
The
yeah,
thing
I'm
that
not
scares
worried.
me, we started slow 2 years in a row and started picking up steam. I'm
yeah,
afraid that this year is going to be the reverse. We started strong and we're just going to shit all the way down the road. Hopefully that's not. And I don't think that's the key. I'm being sarcastic with
Yeah.
that, but I believe in Kyle. Kyle is a very smart coach. He has his faults, and the thing people don't realize, as fans, we should be entitled to criticize and hold these coaches and players to a higher standard because we pay for the merchandise, we support them. But it doesn't mean, at least for me, it doesn't mean that I don't love my team. I got it tattooed on my hand, and so no matter where I go, I'm representing the team. But I'm not going to sit there and not criticize. I'm going to give flowers when people deserve flowers, and I'm going to speak highly of them. But when they screw up, part as a content creator, I'm gonna put them under the microscope and say, hey, I don't think he did right here. Or I don't think this happened there. Whether people agree with me or not, that's fine. But I'm not gonna sit there and just love on Kyle because he's a great coach. He should,
Yeah.
he shits the bed a lot. But am I ready to get rid of him and get him? No, nowhere near am I ready to get rid of Kyle because there's nobody out there that I can think of bringing in. They can do the same production that he's producing. So don't get it mistaken. Just because I criticize him or we criticize, it doesn't mean I want him fired or I want, Steve Wilkes fired. I just want Steve Wilkes. Now that I'm switching it to Steve, I want him just to make adjustments and figure out what's not
Exactly.
working and fix it. Don't stay with the same pattern because it's not working. Now we're giving up a lot of yards, and we're not giving up a lot of points. But in this case, it's kind of confusing for me a little bit, guys, because we only gave up 22 points, which is not a lot in the NFL. But that offense couldn't do shit. And I love Brock Purdy. I'm a huge supporter of Brock Purdy. This is only his second year, but first year as a starter. He has a lot to learn, and people are too quick. This is the fan base for you. Let me put it in a nutshell. They're too quick to crown him as an elite quarterback. Then they're too quick to call him a bust. What is
Yep.
it? Is he elite or is he a bust? Stop being emotional.
How
Stop being
about a little bit
emotional.
in between?
Yeah, it's like either he's a bust or don't crown him too fast and don't dismiss him too fast. Let him play. Let him figure crap out. Let him make his
Yeah.
mistakes and get better. People crown people too fast and then they want to get rid of them. What is this
Yeah.
microwave like? The things that we live all microwave. Everything wants to be like right now. I don't understand
Yeah.
that. Please make some note of it. I don't understand. Please explain that to me.
I think that it's always been that way. It's like the fan bases have always been that way. I think it's just more prominent now because of social media, but it's just obviously in your face at all times. But I would say that Brock, like I said, I still really like Brock, and I still think that Brock could win. They can win with Brock. I think that the biggest thing is that you need to stop treating him like like you said, like he's already elite. Like, why are we crowning him this early as elite? He needs to build up that resume and get to the point to where, and I get Shanny wants to trust him. He shows more faith in him every single week, but at a certain point, you have to look at what's going on around you, the team that you have, and the identity of your team, and not want to go away from the identity of your team. Like, not lose yourself. You can't lose yourself because you got a new toy. That can't happen. Like, and I think that's what happened with CMC. I think that's what happened. That's what's happening with Brock, is that Kyle finds a toy that's working, that is like nice and shiny, and it's all of his friends are looking at, oh, look at your new toy, and that, but then at the same time, he's got all these more powerful toys in the garage that can't even get out of the garage because you're focusing on those two. And it's, I think it eventually, when Kyle figures it out and starts getting everybody involved, it's going to make his job and everybody's job a lot easier.
Anything you want to add there, Brandon?
No, I agree with Pete 100%. Yeah, I just.
So, okay, so moving on a little bit, let's talk a little bit about the offensive line. I hear a lot of, I like to be lit. Okay, go ahead.
Sorry, Beto. Just real fast. I mean, like a lot of people are saying the offense and Purdy had a real bad game yesterday. But to me personally, I mean, besides those two interceptions,
He had a good game.
Purdy had a good game. And I feel like one of the interceptions was actually on Jawan and not Purdy.
Yeah,
I feel like Jawan stopped a little bit, but that could be me. I don't know.
Yeah. I'm not gonna agree with you on that one. I hear what you're saying. He did play good. He bounced back good based on what he did on against the Browns. But those two interceptions were right in the chest between the numbers of that corner. Same corner. I think he's trying to recruit him to play for us, I guess, because the way he threw the ball at him. But Jawan Jennings was nowhere near, bro. He wasn't. Now, maybe he didn't cut the right way. Now, this is the thing, too, people need to realize. Brock Purdy throws with anticipation.
exactly.
He throws because he doesn't have the strength, so he throws he expects you to be there. So if he was supposed to cut right and he cut it left, and the ball's already up in the air, so that could be, in a sense, Jawan Jennings' fault, based on what the call was. But you guys got to remember, he throws with anticipation. He's not a Josh Allen where once the receiver gets to the spot, boom, he throws a dart right to them. He has to anticipate the ball up in the air before the receiver even makes his cut. So maybe you are right. Just because Jawan Jennings wasn't near the ball, maybe he just didn't cut the right way, and Brock Purdy let it go.
Yeah, it was an extra hitch. He put an extra hitch in because Jawan Jennings is not the fastest guy on the planet.
No.
So at the top of his route, he has to find ways to get separation. And and I don't think that all the other times that Brock had thrown that pass, it was to somebody else that made a clean break. And like you said, he was passing with anticipation. He wasn't expecting Jawan to take the extra step in the other direction. And here we are. So
Go ahead. You want to add anything, Brandon? I'm reading Twins Empire's message.
No. I just all I gotta say is Dylan Moore had a good game too on our O-line. But you saw it last night, guys. Like that, our O-line was getting eaten up too. You saw the pressure.
3-man rush.
Yeah, it was. I mean, let me get your guys' opinions on McKivitz. How you think he did last night?
He looked like McGlinchey. He looked like McGlinchey because a 3-man rush and he completely whiffs on the block. Otherwise, I didn't think that the offensive line necessarily did that bad with it when you consider they didn't have Trent Williams. It was. I don't think that they
And Flowers or Jalen Moore,
ever.
bro.
Yeah, I don't think they ever committed to the run, and I think that was part of the problem. But
Yeah, I don't think the offensive line is a major problem. Like you said, Trent Williams wasn't in there. Flowers, and credit to Jalen Moore for handling his side. McKivitz, didn't have a great game. He didn't. I don't think he had a bad game. I mean, how many sacks did we give up? Maybe
we only
2?
gave up. Let's see what is.
And they
2?
blitzed 1. We gave up 1 sack.
One.
According to Brandon.
1 sack.
Okay,
1
so
sack.
you give up 1 sack, and the amount of time they blitz, they may be running 3 linemen, but they're always blitzing their corners or safeties, or linebackers, excuse me. So they blitz the most in the NFL. Brian Flower does that, or whatever his last name is.
Only 3 tackles for loss.
Yeah, so the offensive line did their job pretty well. And one thing about Brock Purdy, even though he made those 2 bonehead throws, he's great under pressure. His percentage of getting the ball out when the defenders are in his face. In other words, he doesn't get scared. He knows he's going to get hit, and he still delivers the ball. Is he elite? No. I don't want to crown nobody elite until they show me more. But is he able to run Kyle's system to the best of his ability? Absolutely. That's why Kyle trusts him, because he's not afraid of getting hit. He's not afraid of threading the needle. He'll let it go. He doesn't get, his confidence don't get shaken that quickly. And so I do like Brock. Now, people are like, well, Joe Montana would have won the game, in that time. I'm like, Joe Montana's retired. What do you mean, Brock Purdy did enough?
Yeah.
Did he do would have been great if he would have if he would have got the winning touchdown? Absolutely. But
And he
shit
put
happens.
them in a position to win the previous game against the Browns.
It was a field goal. So he's still learning. This kid is still learning. Now, if it sounds like I'm making excuses, that's your prerogative. That's your choice of thinking. But I will sit there and criticize Brock Purdy. Like earlier, Brandon said, it might have been Juwan Jennings. I think he just threw it straight to the. But again, I don't know about the anticipation part because I'm not Kyle Shanahan. I don't know what the play call was. But the point is, he makes his mistakes. But to blame Brock Purdy and everything, who do you guys want? Jimmy G back? Absolutely not. Nick Mullins? No. Then I've been hearing too, bro. Well, the same people that don't want Kirk Cousins has a one damn good game against our defense, and us suddenly everybody wishes we had him. It's like, what is this, an emotional roller coaster? It's like,
that's 49ers Twitter for you.
let me ask you, based on what he did last night, would you still take him over Brock? Honest question.
No, I wouldn't.
Nope, not at all.
Yeah, no, I wouldn't necessarily, because I like Brock. But I would say the exact same things about Kirk Cousins. I don't want him throwing the ball 40 times a game in this offense. I want them to run the ball.
Yeah.
And I want them to regain their identity, be physical, claim all the time of possession, shorten the game up, and then be able to lean on your defense. That's what I want to see. And then Brock's there to make those couple of throws that Jimmy couldn't make. It's really that simple. It's really that simple. And I don't understand why we're overcomplicating the whole thing. That this team won they got to the NFC Championship without CMC. They got there without Brock Purdy. They got there with a young Debo. They got to a Super Bowl with a young Debo, who wasn't Debo at the time. There was no wide back. They had Kittle and Mostert and Kendrick Bourne and a washed up Emmanuel Sanders. They can make it with this team. They absolutely can make it with this team. This team is so much better on offense than that 2019. The pieces are. that they can make it. That Kyle just has to get out of his own way.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. I like Brock Purdy. I think I love the way they use CMC, but I'm also with you guys. Jordan Mason, such a great running back. Give some rest to CMC. I don't understand why Kyle, even though I understand CMC is a great running back and a receiver, and is having him on the field is important because Kyle can call certain plays when CMC's on the field, other than having Mason on there. But you got to give Mason an opportunity to run. This guy, he runs between the tackles. He's a mauler. Why didn't he? I don't know. Even know how many plays did he get? How many snaps did? I know he got in there, but how many snaps did he get? Or did he get any? Because I know Elijah got
In
a very
yesterday's
few.
game?
Yeah.
In yesterday's game?
Yeah.
No, Elijah only got 1 carry, and Mason got none.
No, he got okay. See,
He got none.
That's what I'm saying. When CMC literally took every single snap, basically.
Yeah, he got 15, and he only got 15 carries. And CMC only got 15 carries. That's what I'm saying. That cannot happen. That you
so who's to
only
blame
run
on
the
that?
ball
Is
with
that
your running
Kyle's
back.
blame?
That's Kyle.
Or CMC. Ultimately,
That
I
is
know it's
Kyle.
Kyle because he's a coach. I understand, but do you think CMC is like, I want the ball, and Kyle's like, okay?
No. But I mean, even if he was saying that he wanted the ball, they only ran the ball with running backs 15 times.
Yeah.
Like
Hey,
you're not going to win games. You're not going to win time of possession only running the ball 15 times. You're just not.
Go ahead, Brandon.
Here's my question for you guys. Since we're talking about blame, who's it to blame for the whole game?
The whole game.
I mean, there's so many.
Yeah.
It's
Where do we start?
It's the second loss in a row where it's a complete team loss. Special teams, we missed a kick. We missed a field goal. Offense fumbled the ball and got 2 picks. The defense gave up some ridiculous points and just missing tackles all over the place. It's a complete team loss all the way down to the coaching staff.
Yep.
They were not ready to play again for the second game in a row.
But
that cannot happen.
And how are you guys feeling after Jake Moody misses a field goal again?
I feel the same way that I felt when they picked him 3rd overall. It was a mistake of a pick. Not because, and he might end up being good. But the reality is this: you don't spend a 3rd rounder on a kicker, and you just don't do it.
Now, in the sense of where he got picked, I see where your point is there, Pete. But as a kicker, let's forget where he got picked. Let's just talk to him as a kicker. People need to just kind of chill out a little bit, okay? It's like, we should fire Moody. We should cut him and bring back Gold. The guy made a 55. Okay, yeah, he missed the 40, and he's going through some issues, but he made a 55. He's young. You got to give these players time to develop and fight. Everybody are warriors from watching on TV, right? You're sitting there eating a hamburger or a hot dog, nachos, and drinking beer, and you're all going, this is what this player should do. This is what that player. But I bet you if I put your ass out there to kick the ball, you'd be missing and I'm talking about everyone. The ball would be going everywhere. It's not easy. Now, they're getting paid. I understand. But he still has to find his identity, who he is. He got to figure shit out. It's not like he's been kicking for 2 or 3 years. I'm a firm believer. You got to give every player at least 3 years to see what they're going to be. 3 years.
But that's my point, Beto. That's my point, is the fact of why, if this is a team that is trying to go to a Super Bowl, why do you take away a veteran kicker? Why do you give away a veteran kicker and then replace them with a rookie that has not found themselves?
Because he wanted more money than what because he held the Niners hostage.
No, he said he didn't want to be there. I'm not even talking about Gold at this point. I'm talking about, you could have brought in.
Oh, you're talking about another veteran. Got you. Okay.
You could have picked any veteran kicker you wanted to pick. There was a bunch of them out there. You chose to go with a rookie kicker because you thought you were going to set yourself up for the foreseeable future. But the history of rookie kickers is not good. It's not good, and especially ones that are picked high. So I just don't. I just think it was that part was a bad idea, and it's already lost us one game. It's already lost us one game, and it had a hand in losing this game. Like, I'm just afraid of what's going to happen down the stretch with him because like you said, he doesn't have we don't know what he is.
Nope.
And we don't know if he's going to turn it around. So the unknown with him is
It's
the
scary.
problem.
Yeah. I mean, he can give you that winning field goal that everybody picks him up and we're like, heck yeah, or he can miss that freaking kick that we lose the Super Bowl. Kind of like the Bills against the Giants.
But that puts extra pressure on him as well.
Yeah.
Being a third-round pick of a Super Bowl-ready team. And that's why there's just multiple reasons why I just thought that was a bad idea.
Yeah, I also heard too that he was losing his footing too, especially during like pregame warm-ups.
Yeah, I saw that.
Yeah. I like his smirkiness though. He clowned Aikman. I think it was Aikman that said it, or somebody mentioned it, or it was Joe Buck. But he's like, I forgot. I don't want to quote what Joe Buck said he was told by Moody, but Moody clowned him. Like, what do you want me to do? Change shoes, or I don't know how he said it, but I thought it was hilarious. And then he goes, misses a kick, and Joe Buck took the opportunity to kind of nail that on him. But he made a 55-yarder. We lost by 5. It would have been 2. At the end of the day, 2 or 5, it still would have been a loss. Now I understand. Who knows what the momentum is with that 41-yarder that he missed? But imagine if he would have missed that 55. It would. They probably wouldn't even brought him home with them.
Honestly, in the moment, I was like, we should have just gone for it. Like, why are we giving him the ball right now?
I questioned that too. Maybe I thought they were trying to build his confidence, but
yeah, I mean, okay, but I mean, and I guess but
it's a scary.
You're going to give him
decision.
a 55-yarder after he just missed a 40. Like, I mean, I was like, what are we? I was just thinking to myself, what are we doing?
Or maybe Kyle told him this:
going on.
You make it, I'll give you another chance. You miss it, your ass is coming home on your own, and we're finding another kicker.
Because if he had missed that 55-yarder, like you could only imagine Twitter after that.
Oh yeah, they would have crucified him. There would have been, I
mean, they're already crucifying him.
Yeah, that's terrible.
It would have just been that much worse. And but that's my thing is you're putting all that pressure on a rookie I mean, they're in the spot. Kickers are in the spotlight consistently. It's not like a wide receiver that has the time to come in and make an impact, or a running back or any other position really. Like every other position is given some leeway. But kickers, they're going to be in high pressure situations throughout the season.
Oh, sorry. Damian Lee cracked me up when he put Taylor Swift at nose tackle.
Yeah, I mean.
Anyway, I thought it was funny. But
men just kind of run away from her on a regular basis. So, I mean, it's.
Unless you're Kelsey.
Well, that's right now.
Yeah, I know, huh?
That's right now.
Give it about another month, and they'll be.
Yeah, I was about to say everybody tests the waters, and then they talk about how crazy she is.
That's what I heard. I'm not a big, huge follower of her or whatever, but anyway, that's with Kansas City anyway. But anyway, we came to an hour, so we're going to conclude. What do you guys want to see? I'm going to ask Brandon, he's our guest. What changes do you want, whether it's on the offense or defense, to be made to go going forward? And then Pete, you can close us out.
Mm-hmm. Tighten up on defense, especially our secondary. Our secondary has been ass, and on offense, I want Kyle to stop relying on CMC as much as he is, and spread the ball around. We have great talent all around, so Put them to use. Like, I mean, look at George Kittle had that big game against the Cowboys, right? Brandon Ayuk had a big game against was it the Steelers? Debo had a big game against the Giants. Like, I mean, I know Debo's out right now still, but just spread the ball around. We have more than just CMC in the back, um, and we don't have to always rely on CMC because defenses are noticing that stuff now. So we gotta change it up. We gotta change it up and make something happen because us getting killed by mediocre teams, especially, is pretty ridiculous. Especially if we're trying to contend in the Super Bowl. So yeah.
Closes out,
You
Pete.
ready? Okay, so my main thing, I just want to see two things. I want us to get back to our identity on offense. I think that Kyle needs to stop being a prisoner of his own play sheet and call what needs to be called in the moment. And then my last thing is that I think Steve Wilkes needs to figure out the pass rush and find a way to get this defensive line a way to get them more to the quarterback without having to blitz. Like that shouldn't be necessary. They've found ways to get pressure with four. Like in the past, they have more talent now than they've had since probably ever, and so they just need to figure out a way to get the pass rush with four. So those are my two things. I just think Kyle needs to get out of his own way and play a little bit more free instead of being a prisoner of his own play sheet.
Yeah. Real quick, Twin Empire was I didn't see if I was behind in the comments tonight. He wanted the link. I'm assuming to come on here. I don't know if sometimes I get confused with if they're talking to us or they're talking amongst each other, which is great, by the way. The chat was popping all night. Appreciate you guys for that. We are coming down to shutting it down. But if you want to come, me and P, we do this every Tuesdays at 6:30 p.m. Pacific. If you want to come on as a guest on our next show and let us know how you feel about your points, you're welcome to come on, Twin Empire. We'll extend that invitation to you.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, it would have to be next week because we're already an hour, and we like to keep it cordial and we like to keep it respectful for all our viewers. Plus, it's
Absolutely.
2 hours ahead.
Twin knows he's always welcome. Twin knows that he's always welcome on my show as well. That's my bro. Like always. Like we might disagree on certain things, but yeah, he's a great guy. Make sure that you give him a follow on. He has his YouTube channel. Him and his brother, the Bearded Bros, and then make sure you give him a follow on Twitter. He's great content.
Yeah, what is his brother's name, or what is his channel?
Law Nation. It's a
okay.
cowboy. He's a cowboy.
I seen him on his show. Okay, he has a huge follow. Okay,
great show, huge following. Like great, yeah, just great show. And him and Twin are fire on screen together. So like, make sure you check out those.
Really?
Guys. Oh yeah, they are great together.
I was watching his brother before I even knew that was his brother. So kudos to his brother because he got my attention about his competition up at the Cowboys. Can't stand the Cowboys, but I'm always a fan of listening to someone, even if they talk about the team I don't like, but they're making sense in what they're saying. I will listen to and educate myself on people's teams. I'm just not going to listen to weirdos or delusional fans, and I don't think his brother is one of them. So I've been watching it, and I've been subscribed to his brother way before I even knew. I just believe I found out today. I knew he had a brother that was a Cowboy fan, in a contract, but I didn't know that was him. And now that I think about it, when I see his brother now, I can see the resemblance.
Yeah, yeah.
So, if anything, the beard. Real quick, I just want to shout out Laura Cat. Laura, I know you've been in here. I've been dragging my feet on these comments. My apologies. 49er Eddie popped in. Javier Rios popped in. We got great messages. Jesus M popped in. David McNiner popped in. I just want to acknowledge Damian Lee popped in and want to acknowledge everyone. Mm-hmm. Thank you for keeping the chat active. Thank you for being involved in the channel, make sure to hit and subscribe, not just to my channel, Niner Sickness Podcast, but to Niner Fanatic Podcast, which is Pete's channel, and also for Forever. God, so many names. Don't tell me. Forever Faithful Podcast, which is Brandon's channel. I mean, I didn't do that disrespectfully. So many damn names.
No,
I get confused. Because look at that, so similar. Shut up. Anyway, I'm giving you you know what? Don't follow Brandon. He only has like 200 people.
Wow.
No, just kidding. No, Brandon's a cool guy. Make sure to follow him. Make sure to follow Pete. And if you have to unsubscribe from me to go follow them, then do it. They're doing
We'll be
great.
live tomorrow, by the way.
They're doing great work over there. Follow them. Brandon just loves to sit there and look pretty in the camera and let everybody else talk, but he does that very well. So we got to give him credit. Look at that
Hey.
smile.
Hey, now.
Hey, now. All right, guys. Thank you for tuning in. This is the two OGs just talking 49er football with our guest tonight, Brandon. Thank you for coming in. And everybody out there, thank you so much for hanging out with us. Until next time, we are out of here. Stay faithful, remain faithful,
Go Niners.
and let's not
Niners.
fire nobody. Go Niners.
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2,